So friends, please understand, till now what we have discussed is the 9.1. In 9.1, a supplier is required to pay tax. Supplier is required to pay tax, therefore we call it forward charge, which is a normal charge, also called as normal charge. Forward charge or normal charge. In 9.3, in section 9.3, RCM is applicable because the recipient is liable to pay tax. The recipient is liable to pay tax. Therefore, it is RCM, reverse charge mechanism. Now, so far as our examination is concerned, notification number 13/2017 applicable to us. That's what we have discussed. Section 9.4 talks about supply made by any unregistered person to specified registered person, and this supply is also of specified goods, yeah, services. Okay, specified goods or services. Then the RCM will apply, and under RCM, a recipient is liable to pay tax. So till now you have understood two charges. By default, we pay tax under forward charge. In certain cases, recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Now I am going to teach you 9.5. Under section 9.5, neither supplier nor recipient, please understand, neither supplier nor recipient, somebody else pay the tax. Somebody else means this is a third party charge. This is not a supplier, this is not a recipient. Here the third party is going to pay tax, and the third party is known as e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator will be paying taxes. Now there are various situations here why e-commerce operator is going to pay tax. So this is 9.5 e-commerce operator provision. Please understand here. Please understand. What is e-commerce operator, sir? So you know this, there was the issue with transportation through cab or auto rickshaw in Mumbai. It was very difficult to catch auto rickshaw or cab in Mumbai. So the problem of this particular system was resolved by Ola or Uber. Now please understand how Ola Uber operates. So Ola Uber is a mobile based app. Okay, it's an app. You open the app if you wanted to travel. You select your pickup point, you select your destination, and then you find a cab. And there are a lot of cabs which are standing here and there. Okay, a lot of cabs, they will get the notification, and one of them, which is why I am drawing houses, I was supposed to draw the car. Okay, yeah, lot of cabs are there. Okay, so one of these cab will get a notification, okay, this so and so passenger is waiting for you. So that cab driver will also get a notification, and you will also get a notification your cab is booked. Okay, now this guy will come pick up you, and then he will start the service. Who is the service provider? This owner, this cab driver is a service provider. Okay, who is the service recipient? This individual is the service recipient. So far as the tax collection is concerned, government is not trusting this service provider, and they cannot trust service recipient. Tax collection from both the points were very difficult because these are very small entities who own the cab. Please understand. And these guys are like students, office going people like you and me. So it was very difficult to recover tax from recipient as well. So this challenging situation is handled by section 9.5, and 9.5 says, listen, neither service provider nor service recipient are liable to pay tax. The e-commerce operator, in income tax we call them aggregator. Aggregator means a platform where service recipient and service provider come together. As an agency, this particular company works. So Uber and Ola, these people are liable to pay tax under section 9.5. Now, the another challenge to government was this Ola Uber may not have any physical presence in India. See, Uber is a US based company, so it need not to have a physical presence in India. It is an app based company, so they can have physical presence in USA and then server, and they can do this everything online. There is nothing physical required to be done here because they are not one who owns the cab. Okay, Ola is Indian company, so yes, there is no problem. The Indian venture of Ola can have physical presence here. So there are three situations now when e-commerce operator will be liable to pay tax. If e-commerce operator is having physical presence in India, that means they are having physical office in India where GST department can go and recover their tax, then the tax should be paid by e-commerce operator. Sometimes e-commerce operator may not have physical presence in India, then the representative, please understand, the representative of e-commerce operator should pay tax in India. If they are having physical presence in India, then e-commerce operator will pay tax. If they are not having physical presence in India, then the representative of them should pay tax in India. If, listen, very important, if they are neither having physical presence in India nor representative, if they are neither having physical presence in India nor they are having representative in India, then they must appoint any person appointed. Please understand, they must appoint some person. That person can be a chartered accountant, cost accountant, or any other responsible person from their angle. Okay, that person will take liability to pay taxes. So friends, please understand, here tax is in 9(5), tax is not provided, not paid by the recipient, it is not paid by the supplier, it is paid by the aggregator who are bringing them together. Now the point of observation here is this: 9(5) is applicable only on services which are notified by the government. It's not applicable on goods. This is applicable only on services, and that too notified by the government on a recommendation of council. And as of now, only 3 services are notified. One, passenger transport service. Second, hotel accommodation. And third, housekeeping. Okay, housekeeping. I guess Urban Clap is a company which provide housekeeping, plumber, carpenter, yoga trainer. So that Urban Clap, have you seen that website, Urban Clap? Let me show you. Is it Urban Clap or urbanclap.com? Urban company. See, AC repair, chartered accountant, CCTV dealer, fitness trainer, laptop repair, electrician, carpenter, painter, microwave repair, packer and movers, tutors. Do you understand this kind of website? So this fitness trainer or laptop supplier will be very small person. Please understand, very small person. Okay, may not be registered with GST department, and the recipient definitely they are also not registered with GST department. So government is saying, instead of recovering tax from service provider or service receiver, let us recover tax from urban company. Okay, let us recover tax from urban company, which is very comfortable for them. Okay, but here please understand, they have written chartered accountant also. Now majority of chartered accountants are registered with department. Then government is saying, if a chartered accountant or if a supplier is registered with government, then the supplier itself can take the responsibility of paying taxes. I'll give you another example. I'll give you hotel accommodation also. Can you give me 2 or 3 website names which provides you hotel accommodation, which arranges hotel accommodation for you? Like Ola, Uber, they arrange transportation of passenger service. Can you give me at least 1 or 2 examples which arrange hotel accommodation? Yes, Vijay, good. Oyo is one of the example. Oyo. One guy comes on TV again and again. He's so irritating guy. Trivago, very good, very good. Trivago. Trivago, yeah. Yes. And Vijay is also saying MMT. MMT, Alia Bhatt, na? Alia Bhatt and this Ranveer Singh, sometimes they come in this MMT advertisement, Make My Trip. So these are the company which arranges your hotel accommodation. So they are the aggregator. Now there is very small hotel in Goa. Say for example, very small hotel in Goa, and that hotel itself is not registered with GST department. This hotel is unregistered. So who will pay tax on the services provided by this unregistered hotel? So not the hotel, because hotel is unregistered. Not the guest which is going to stay there in that particular hotel. No, neither supplier nor the recipient. But OYO, Trivago or MMT, this website will pay tax. But in Goa we are having Zuri. Now Zuri is a 5-star hotel, and this 5-star hotel is already registered with the GST department. Just okay. The Zuri hotel already registered with GST department, and they are saying our tax need not to be paid by Make My Trip or Trivago. We will pay our own tax that is more comfortable to us. So please understand, for hotel accommodation and for housekeeping services, here you need to check whether supplier is registered or not. If supplier is registered, then supplier will pay tax. If a supplier is unregistered, then the e-commerce operator will pay tax. Now whatever I have said, okay, is there in your module on page number. This is the CMA module. Let's jump to CA module first. See here what I have written in our handwritten notes. Section 9.5, electronic commerce operator, e-commerce operator. The government, on a recommendation of council by a notification, specified category of services, very important. Services is not goods, it's not applicable for goods, it is applicable only on services. Tax on intrastate supply shall be paid by e-commerce operator. So when it is paid by e-commerce operator, if e-commerce is having physical presence in India, it having physical office in India, then e-commerce operator will pay tax outrightly. Does not have physical presence, then the representative of e-commerce operator will pay the tax in India. Neither physical presence nor representative in India. Neither physical presence nor representative in India, then the person appointed shall pay the tax. Example of notification: hotel accommodation, housekeeping, and passenger transportation. Example I have written here: Ola, Uber. For housekeeping, urban company, you can write down example urban company, and hotel accommodation, OYO, Trivago, MMT, you already know. Okay. So this is our 9.5. Okay. Let's see from your module. See, this is what is written here, because e-commerce operator is little advanced concept. So they are saying the e-commerce operator should be discussed at CA final level. But let's see whatever is written here. At least we should go through the provisions which are mentioned here. Electronic commerce operator is any person who owns or operates or manages an electronic platform of supply of goods, services, or both. Sometimes e-commerce operator itself supply the goods or services through many electronic portal. However, many times the products and services displayed on the electronic commerce portal are actually supplied by some other person to the consumer. So they are saying, though OYO is reflecting the hotel services, OYO doesn't own any hotel. Okay. It takes the hotel services from hotel suppliers, hotel service providers, and it gives to the guest who wanted to stay there. When a consumer places an order for a particular product or services on this electronic portal, the actual supplier supplies the selected product or services to the consumer. The price or a consideration for the product is collected by the e-commerce operator from the consumer and pass on the actual supplier after deduction of commission to e-commerce operator. So here they have given how e-commerce operates. Okay, they have given you background how e-commerce operates usually. The government may, on a recommendation of GST Council, notify specific category of services, only services. Okay, on supply of which the tax shall be paid by the electronic commerce operator if such services are supplied through it. Few services have been notified. For instance, supply of transportation of passenger, radio taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, motorcycle, etc. So this is what they have written in our module. I hope you understood what is e-commerce operator. Do you understand what is e-commerce operator? Please tell me. From CMA module, I'll read section 9555. Okay, for IGST it is 55. Electronic commerce operator is liable to pay tax, or this is first option. Second, any person representing such electronic commerce operator for any purpose in a taxable territory shall be liable to pay tax, provided e-commerce operator not located in a taxable territory. Okay, where e-commerce operator does not have a representative in a taxable territory, such e-commerce operator shall appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying tax, and such person shall be liable to pay tax. So this is what you need to understand from e-commerce operator. The next important concept is the composition levy that we will discuss in tomorrow's lecture. But let me finish few small points from the CA intermediate module here. CGST, GST rates. Though they have given GST rates here, you are not expected to by heart GST rate. Broadly, 6 rates of GST is notified: 0.125, 1.5, 2.5, 6, 9, 14. HGST and UTGST are equivalent of these rates. These are the CGST rates. The same rate you should take for state or UT rate, then it will become a total rate. And for IGST, the total of these two. So 0.125 and plus 0.125 will become 0.25. 1.5 will become 3. 2.5 will become 5. 6 will become 12. 9 will become 18. And 14 will become 28%. Okay, this is what it is written. After writing this rate, they have written a note here. Student may refer CBIC website for the complete schedule of GST rates for the knowledge purpose. So GST rates are not supposed to be by-hearted. Okay, they have given it for the knowledge purpose. When we were doing the chapter number 1, basic concept, that time only I told you the goods are classified under GST Tariff Act by using HSN. HSN means Harmonized System of Nomenclature, and it has been divided in a logical order, sections. The whole the classification is based on sections. Sections are further divided into chapters. Chapters are divided into headings, and headings are further divided into subheading. And under subheading, there is a tariff item. This is how they have developed the whole, harmonized system of nomenclature for goods, HSN. Eight-digit classification. What paragraph they have written here? Tariff item, subheading, heading, and chapters are referred in schedule rate notification for the GST are the tariff item or subheading chapter of the first schedule of Custom Tariff Act. So they are saying whatever heading and subheading we have borrowed here, we have borrowed from the Customs Tariff Act. Indian Custom Tariff is based on the HSN because the custom is based on the Harmonized System of Nomenclature. HSN stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature. It is a multi-purpose international product nomenclature developed by the World Custom Organization for the purpose of classifying goods across the world in a systematic manner. So they are saying how custom is developed. Okay, it comprises about 5,000 commodities group, each identified a 6-digit code to be extended, and code can be extended. I told you the actual code is up to 8-digit, arranged in a legal and logical structure, and is supported by well-defined rules to achieve uniform classification. India has developed an 8-digit code of HSN, Harmonized System of Nomenclature. Along the lines, HSN, the Indian Custom Tariff has set a rule for interpretation of the first schedule and general explanatory notes, which is not there in US syllabus as of now. These rules and general explanatory notes will give clear direction as to how the nomenclature in the schedule is to be interpreted. This is there in the Customs Act. We will discuss when we are going to refer to the Customs Act. These rules of interpretation, including section and chapter notes and the general explanatory notes to the first schedule, apply to the interpretation of rates for goods under GST as well. Okay. So they are saying again, these rules for Customs Act and all will be discussed at final level. Consequently, under GST, goods are classified on the basis of HSN, accordance with the rules of interpretation. And why do we do that? To find the appropriate rate. So what about services? The services are also having some logical number? Yes. Services are having service account code, SAC code. Okay. A new scheme of classification of service has been devised under GST with modified version of the United Nations Central Product Classification. Under this scheme, services of various description have been classified under various sections, heading and groups. Chapter 99 has been assigned for service. So chapter 99 of the Tariff Act is, they define this. Section 5 construction service, section 6 distributive trade service, accommodation, food and beverages. Section 7 talks about financial and real estate. Okay. 8 business and product services. 9 community, social and personal services. So this is how the services are designed and developed. Okay. Chapter, section, heading, group and tariff item or service code. GST rates on prescribed services. Services are classified in 2.5, 6, 9 and 14. Similarly, IGST rate will be 5, 12, 18 and 28. All these things are not relevant for your examination. Please understand here, because they are saying this is given only for the knowledge purpose, and I read it for you. You don't have to refer it for the knowledge purpose. So far as construction sector was concerned, I told you this particular thing in 9.4. And next chapter here also is going to be composition levy under CGST Act section 10, which is the most important chapter, which comes for 100% in examination. This we will be discussing in the next lecture. So thank you.